calf, calf, is again touching the soft palate, but it's slightly more forward than the qaf, and it's just said normally quite softly as calf, calf. Group 5 is operating where the tongue is touching the hard palate almost in the middle of the mouth. Again, there are 3 letters and they have slightly different positions. So we've got the letter ya, ya, which is almost exactly in the middle of the mouth, i.e. your middle of your tongue touching the top hard palate in the middle of your mouth. We have the letter Jim, Jim, still towards the middle of the top of your mouth but slightly more forward. And then we have Sheen, Sheen, which goes just a little bit more forward, but still, we would still class that towards the middle of the top of the mouth on the hard palate. So that was group 5. Group 6 then is where the tip of your tongue, or the very upper front of your tongue, is touching the hard palate at the front of the mouth but not the gums. So we're not as far as the gums, which meet the front teeth, slightly behind that. And again, slightly different variation in how the tongue operates, but generally the front of the tongue touching the hard palate just before the gums. So the first letter is the letter Ra, Ra, and you should notice when you say that the back of your tongue lifts up as well. Ra, Ra. Next one is Lam, Lam. So a bit more pressure on the front of the tongue. The back of the tongue is as normal, it's not raised. Then we have a Noon, Noon. So again, the tip of the tongue pressing on the front hard palate. Your lips actually go a bit round with the Noon, Noon. That's group 6. Group 7 is where the front of the tongue meets the gum, and it's slightly on the front upper teeth as well. So going over your gums and your front teeth. Okay, so that's the very front hard palate, also known as the gums, and the front upper teeth. The letters that are said like this, 2 of them start in exactly the same way, i.e. the position of the tongue. So we have the letter Ta, Ta, and we have the letter Dal, Dal. And the other one we have is the letter Bo, Bo. So you apply a bit more pressure on the front of the tongue this time, and the back of the tongue raises a little bit. Bo, Bo. So that was group 7. Group 8 is where the tip of the tongue starts between the upper and lower teeth. So the letters in group 8 is the letter Tha, Tha, and then we have the letter Dhal, Dhal. So both of them, your tongue is just between your upper and lower teeth. So not right outside your mouth, i.e. it's not protruding outside the lips, but still just between the 2 front teeth. The other one is the letter Tho, Tho, which again you apply a bit more pressure on the tongue at the front, and the back of the tongue will lift. So we have the letter Tha, Dhal, and Tho, and that was group 8. Group 9 is where the tip of the tongue touches the bottom gums and the inside bottom front teeth. And the 3 letters is Za, Sin, and Sod. And again, Za, Sin, the tongue touching the lower gums and the bottom of the inside teeth, the tongue as normal, and Sod, Sod, bit more pressure on the tongue and the back of the tongue will lift a little bit. So that was group 9. The last group is group number 10, which consists of just one letter, and the letter is bod. Now this is quite difficult to say, and it's difficult to show in a diagram, but effectively what you're doing, if you're right-handed, the left side of your tongue will touch the upper left teeth on the top row of teeth. So your upper left teeth, your left side of your tongue will touch. So say bod. So it's like saying the English word door, but putting your tongue on the upper left teeth and applying pressure and then releasing it. So you say bod. Now notice as well that there will be a portion of the sort of middle part of your tongue, i.e. the middle part going through the whole length of your tongue, which will be touching the hard palate roof of the mouth as well. But the main thing is to try and get the left side of your tongue to touch your upper left teeth and say bod, bod. If you're left-handed, you would normally put the right side of your tongue onto the upper right teeth, and some people can do it both left and right side. So that was group 10, the letter bod. The next slide is about what we call nasalization. So there are times when you're pronouncing certain things in Arabic where you hold the sound in your nose, so it's like a small reverberation inside your nasal cavity. We're going to study the nasalization of noon and meme here, and this nasalization that takes place is known as al-ghunna, al-ghunna. So we're going to have a look at it operating with meme and noon. So with meme, it will normally happen when there's some sort of sound joining to meme. So an example is and effectively what you're doing is forcing the sound up into your nasal cavity. And with the noon, same sort of thing, a joining sound, an, so that's forcing the sound into your nasal cavity. So those sort of sounds are known as al-ghunna, and it can happen with other letters as well, but we'll cover that in the more advanced stages of the Tajweed. In conclusion then, we have learned the places of origination of all the Arabic alphabet and some of the long vowels as well. We will cover the places of origin and the exact letter pronunciations later on, after we have studied Fatha and Sukun. So again, that was only a very brief introduction, and there's certain techniques that you can apply to check your makharij.